Hello everyone, welcome to the Anime Recap Media YouTube channel. Please like the video, subscribe to help our channel and enjoy this full video.
The story begins as we see a man running through the city. There is chaos everywhere, and we see it's the zombie apocalypse. The man is chased by countless zombies, and he thinks that life has become a living hell. But this just turns out to be a movie, as we meet a boy named Akira, who thinks that such a life would be better than working at his office. We see that it's almost 4 a.m., and he thinks he should get to sleep because he has work soon, but he wishes he didn't have to go, as he passes out. 3 years earlier, we see Akira starting his new job at a production company. He introduces himself to everyone, and he finds there is a good atmosphere among his colleagues. He is excited to get started, and we learn this is his dream job. The boss shows him to his desk, and he is introduced to his department chief. He thinks about how he will be creating big commercials, thinking he might even meet celebrities along the way, and he even meets a cute girl after she bumped into him. He quickly helps her pick up her things, and she introduces herself as Tori from accounting, telling him she is always happy to help, and wishing him luck on his first day. The night carries on, and Akira looks forward to seeing everyone the next day, but they all suddenly get back up, preparing to get back to the office. They keep on working, and we see it's already 2 a.m. Akira thinks something is wrong, but his colleagues act like this is normal. He ends up pulling an all-nighter, even sleeping in the office. This continues to go on, and the next evening, he wonders when he will be able to go home, ending up pulling another all-nighter, until he is finally able to leave 2 days later. He gets home exhausted, collapsing on his bed, and realizing he's being exploited by the company. He wakes up at 6 a.m., barely functioning, and he starts wishing he didn't have to work. But he snaps himself out of it, thinking he just needs to suck it up and work hard, seeing it as the job he's always wanted. As he heads into work, his colleagues all seem to have developed health issues, and we also see that the chief is quite temperamental, often berating them, and even causing some of them to cry. But despite all of this, Akira makes it to his second year. His health starts to get worse, and his hygiene starts to suffer, and he gets told his colleague just quit, so he has to take over his work. He dreads having to pull another all-nighter, but Tori cheers him up, bringing him some food because she noticed he was too busy working. She is the only one keeping him going, but she gets called away by the boss, and we learn she is his mistress. He thinks about ending it all, so that he doesn't need to worry about work anymore. He makes it back home, continuing to work, and we see there is a report about an outbreak, as he eventually passes out, wishing he could just not wake up. But his alarm goes off the next day, and he mindlessly prepares to go to work. He notices he has an unpaid bill, so he goes to find the building manager. He doesn't answer his door, and Akira thinks he is going to be late for work. When he finds him, the manager has become a zombie, and Akira takes a moment to realize what's going on. The manager goes after him, and he quickly runs away, but there are even more zombies that start chasing after him. As he runs, a door opens in front of him, and he runs right into it. He realizes everyone has become a zombie, and he wonders what he should do. He thinks he is going to be late for work, but as he gets outside, he sees everything is in chaos, but all he can think about is the fact he doesn't need to go to work anymore. He realizes he is finally free, as he jumps away from the zombies. He keeps on running, thinking how his world was just darkness, but he is finally able to see how colorful the world is, celebrating his day off work. He thinks he can finally do the things he has always wanted to do. He suddenly thinks about Tori, wondering if she is safe. Even though she has a thing with the boss, Akira decides to confess the feelings he has had for her, not wanting to have any more regrets. He rides his bike through the city while dodging the zombies, and he manages to make it to her apartment, thanks to using the company emergency contact list. He reaches her door, but starts to get cold feet, thinking she will find him creepy for showing up at her house. But he reasons he is just checking up on her. He finds her door is unlocked, so he calls out for her, but he notices the shoes of another man. He sees his boss in front of him, but he starts transforming into a zombie. Akira confronts his boss about how he was treated at the company, announcing his resignation as he tackles his boss and pushes him out of the window. His boss splatters down below, and he notices Tori in the next room. However, he's too late, she is already turning into a zombie. Akira confesses his feelings about how he has been in love with her ever since the first day they met. But she lunges at him as he runs away, saying goodbye to his first love. He thinks he is dreaming, never having to go to work again. He feels liberated after his confession, thinking he could die at any time, and that there's never enough time to do all the things he wants, so he gets a notebook to write down the 100 things he wants to do before he dies.
Feeling refreshed, he cleans his apartment, throws away his rubbish, and even polishes his toilets, relishing the newfound time he has for himself. With a beer in hand, Akira gazes at the chaos unfolding in the city through a news report. Fires rage, and the internet and all telecommunications have gone down. The government is silent, leaving the population in the dark. Unfazed, Akira decides to relax and enjoy his day. However, his plans are interrupted when he realizes he's run out of beer. Reluctantly, Akira ventures outside, seeing hordes of zombies roaming the streets. Despite the danger, he musters the courage to go to the store. Meanwhile, in another apartment, a couple contemplates their fate as they find themselves trapped and without hope of rescue. Akira encounters the couple while climbing down a drain pipe. They invite him to seek refuge in their still-safe apartment, but Akira declines, introducing himself as he heads toward the store. The man asks Akira to bring back food, and the woman requests toilet paper, both recognizing the urgency of their needs. Pedaling his bike, Akira faces the growing number of zombies in the city. Determined to reach the store, he realizes he is being watched, adding an element of mystery to the situation. Upon arriving at the 7-Eleven, he comes across a cute girl and tries to strike up a conversation, only to be met with indifference. Unfazed, Akira mentions his love for beer, but the girl walks away, seemingly uninterested. As fate would have it, a truck crashes through the store, putting Akira and the girl in danger. Akira rushes to protect her, but she pulls him back just in time, saving them from the chaos. Akira tries to express his gratitude, but the girl swiftly departs, leaving him intrigued by her actions and hoping to see her again. Now alone, Akira faces the challenge of returning home without his bike, destroyed in the chaos. Fortunately, he stumbles upon a scooter and embarks on a thrilling ride back to his apartment. Along the way, he realizes the outbreak occurred during rush hour, providing him with an array of bikes and scooters to choose from. Back at his apartment, Akira discovers the couple he encountered earlier is gone, leaving a scene of carnage. Undeterred, he drinks alone, contemplating the fragility of life. He decides to create a list of the things he wants to do, starting with childhood dreams. Confidently, he crosses off items he has already accomplished, such as confessing his feelings and riding a motorbike. With renewed purpose, he continues adding items, yearning to see his parents, spend time with his best friend, and meet the woman of his dreams. Shifting to the girl's perspective, offering a glimpse into her daily routine. She takes supplements, observes the types of zombies with binoculars, and creates a survival list. Arriving at the 7-Eleven, she sets up her camera and gathers essential supplies. Surprised to see Akira, she plans her escape, considering him a risk to her survival. As the chaos escalates, the girl manages to flee back to her apartment, relieved to have secured her supplies. She analyzes the encountered zombies, reflecting on Akira's carefree demeanor amidst the crisis. Regretfully, she recalls leaving behind a sweet treat, realizing the importance of making every moment count. Like Akira, she too has a list of 100 things to do to stave off zombification.
A kid who lost her parents is crying, when a guy named Sho comforts her, but he is called because the zombies have attacked again. Sho apologizes to the kid as he has to go, but she is scared, thinking that he'll die, so he promises her that he will be back. Outside the building, people are fending off the zombies, while Akira is having the time of his life. He is currently in Shinjuku, which is crawling with the undead, looking for a guy named Kensho. A few hours earlier, wondering what to do next, his attention is grabbed by some messages, which meant that the internet was working again. After texting some of his friends, he waits for a reply, but gets nothing after hours of waiting. Realizing that the reason why he was able to use internet was because only a few people were using it, he looks out his window in despair, regretting spending overtime hours in his company. He scrolls down his contacts and comes across a guy named Kensho, who had advised him to quit his job in the past. When he calls him, we see a guy who is sweating and a zombie girl moaning. He was in a building packed with zombies in bikinis and bunny costumes. He drops on the floor after closing the door and proceeds to drink a bottle of water, which was the only things he was ingesting for the last 3 days. So when he gets his senses back, he immediately calls him, and we are back at where we left off. After some talk, Akira asks him his location, which was Shinjuku. After asking him to text his address, Akira hangs off. Back in the present, we hear about the duo's past, and how he was Akira's closest friend, but he landed a big job when Akira was working his butt off. Worst of all, he bragged about his success and how he had a model girlfriend, when Akira was thinking about kicking the bucket. After some bragging, Kensho advises Akira to quit his job, when he starts losing it, throwing every word that came to his mind, which upsets Kensho, and they haven't talked since then. Meanwhile, Sho is waiting for death to knock on his door, but the zombies stop and turn back when they hear a loud beeping sound. And all the zombies in the building leave, which was the doing of Akira. When Kensho realizes that all the zombies are gone, he leaves the room and walks down the hallway, but gets scared when he hears Akira behind his back. He takes off his glasses and cries, while apologizing to him about not listening to his advice. Kensho was about to say something important, but the zombies interrupt them. They come back because they heard Akira screaming. They end up at the roof after running away from the no-brainers. After blocking the door with some fans, Kensho realizes that it won't hold for long, so he asks Akira what to do. The only was left was them to jump to the next building, which Kensho thinks is impossible, but Akira leaps with all his might and successful reaches the other end. However, Kensho says he's too afraid to jump. Thinking that it's the end for him, he gives his last speech about how he wasn't happy with his job and was actually bragging to feel less empty. All this time, he wanted to be someone who makes people laugh, like a comedian. After all the emotional talk, Kensho starts running and jumps, even stripping while he's at it. Akira laughs. Later that night, they are buck naked, drinking some beer while talking, when Kensho says that Akira was amazing, and he might even be the one to save the world from the zombie virus, which is totally never going to happen for sure.
Akira playing a zombie-themed FPS game. While Kensho cooks Akira and himself a meal on the roof, Kensho mocks Akira for not being able to get a date but wishes him good luck. Akira returns to playing the video game while Kensho examines Akira's bucket list. Kensho adds some things to the bucket list despite Akira urging him to make his own list. Kensho promises Akira he'll be with him for the long haul since he prevented his death. Akira asks Kensho to visit Ikeburo with him to get a widescreen television to fulfill one of his bucket list items. Kensho explains why he's always wanted to be a stand-up comic to Akira, making Akira question his own dreams. Akira and Kensho run into an issue involving an oncoming truck driven by a zombie. Akira successfully maneuvers his way through all the zombie obstacles. He and Kensho hide in a mall's underground department store area and bump into survivors. These people aren't as positive about the zombie apocalypse as our protagonists. Kensho and Akira realize they can complete one of Akira's bucket list items since most survivors here are females. The girls introduce themselves as Reika, Maki, and Yukari. Reika says they're all flight attendants, making Kensho and Akira happier. Akira questions how he can help the flight attendants have a better time since the zombies are ruining it for him. Akira spots Kensho having an easy time with one of the attendants. This entices Akira to snort tequila to get one of the other girls to notice him and laugh. Akira's plan works out, and all the girls start laughing. Akira visits the restroom to throw up, and Yukari checks on him. Meanwhile, Kensho and Maki visit a store to have intercourse. Reika complains about life. While the other man they survived in the mall with turns into a zombie and attacks her. She screams, alarming Kensho and Maki. Meanwhile, Yukari tells Akira she checked on him because she was worried. However, she confirms she has a boyfriend and knows he must be safe somewhere, upsetting Akira because he wanted to hit it off with her. However, he's grateful that Yukari's a nice person and gave him a chance to dream. At the same time, Maki and Kensho bump into a zombified version of Reika, who attacks and kills Maki. Kensho kills Reika with her suitcase and questions the other man's whereabouts. Yukari confesses her qualms with her career with Akira, who realizes she shares a similar sentiment as him. Despite wanting to work in the production industry, working in this field helped Akira realize that his dream was a borrowed one. Suddenly, the man arrives and kills Yukari. Akira punches him off Yukari but realizes she's been infected. Yukari tells Akira to leave her be and admits she loves her job despite her qualms. Akira departs and bumps into Kensho, who swiped an 8K widescreen television. Akira and Kensho flee the area and return to their hideout. After recalling Kensho and Yukari's words, Akira adds a new bucket list item. He wants to remember his childhood dream. The episode closes with him continuing to play the zombie game. Wants to remember his childhood dream. The episode closes with him continuing to play the zombie game.
How was the video? We hope it was good. If so, please check these videos. Also, please comment down your thoughts and your suggestions for future videos. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing now to show the support to our channel. We hope to see you soon with another video right in this channel. Have a nice day.